Feeling squeezed by skyrocketing home insurance rates and unfair policies? You are not alone. This video breaks down the new Home Insurance Bill of Rights campaign that homeowners are fighting for across the country. This information is brought to you by Housing and Family Services. If you are struggling with your insurance costs or facing other housing challenges, please know that free help is available. Contact us today for confidential assistance. You can call us at 718-435-7585 or visit our website at brooklynhousing.org. So, there's this new campaign taking aim at the home insurance industry, and it's being driven entirely by frustrated homeowners. It's a story that really gets to the heart of rising costs, the struggle for fairness, and what can happen when people decide to act together. And it all kicks off with voices just like this. This is Dominique from California. And wow, her words just perfectly capture that feeling so many people have, that sense of being squeezed, of being treated like a blank check every single time a disaster hits. It's a feeling that's becoming way too common. And look, Dominique is not some isolated case. Her frustration is a huge part of what's fueling this growing consumer movement. This isn't just about one person's complaint anymore. It's ballooning into a chorus of homeowners from all over the country, and they're all demanding some real, meaningful change. Okay, so what's the big issue here? What's bringing all these different people together? Well, it all comes down to a fundamental belief. They share about the state of the home insurance market itself. At its heart, the campaign's whole argument is this: the home insurance market just isn't working for people anymore. They believe the very system that we all count on to protect our biggest asset, our homes, is actually failing the very people it was supposed to serve. And these issues, they often create this awful vicious cycle for homeowners. The campaign points out that extreme weather is being used more and more to justify these massive rate hikes. Then, policies sometimes get canceled with almost no warning, leaving folks in so-called high-risk areas scrambling to find any coverage at all. And you know what, all these market problems, they aren't just abstract ideas. They create a real, heavy burden for families. Behind these bullet points are real people dealing with some serious financial stress. I mean, just take Beverly, a retired teacher in Hawaii. She did everything right, paid her premiums on time. When a big windstorm hit, she had to pay a huge deductible first. And what was her reward? Her insurance company only covered a tiny fraction of the damage. It's stories like that that just leave you feeling completely powerless. And Beverly's story, as tough as it is, isn't some one-off. You've got Ed over in Arizona who saw his premium literally double in just 1 year. Then there's Barry in Florida, who was left high and dry when he couldn't find a single company that would renew his coverage. This really does seem to be a nationwide problem. And you know what? The numbers absolutely back up these personal stories. In just 3 years, the average cost for home insurance has jumped by a staggering 24%. That is a huge increase, one that's way out ahead of inflation and wage growth for most families. It all adds up to this number, $3,300. That's what a typical American household is now paying, on average, every single year. And when you're paying that much money, the expectation for a fair deal and reliable coverage isn't just reasonable. It's absolutely essential. So, you're facing this tough market, this huge financial burden. What's the solution? Well, that brings us to the campaign's big idea, a bill of rights for every single homeowner. And what's really interesting here is that this isn't some top-down policy, paper written by experts in an office somewhere. Nope, this homeowners insurance bill of rights was built from the ground up, using direct input from consumers themselves to create a set of basic, common-sense protections. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What are these homeowners actually asking for? The whole proposal really boils down to 4 simple but pretty powerful demands. Okay, first up, an end to surprise cancellations that just leave you hanging. Second, when you file a legitimate claim, you should get paid quickly and fairly. Third, homeowners want some proactive advice on what they can actually do to keep their rates from going through the roof. And fourth, a demand for real transparency into how these companies are setting their prices in the first place. Right? So having a list of demands is great, but how do you get a massive, multi-billion-dollar industry to actually listen? That's a whole other challenge. So, how does this campaign plan to make itself heard? Well, their entire game plan hinges on one single idea: people power. The thinking is pretty simple. One customer might be easy for a giant company to ignore, but the unified voice of millions of customers, that's a whole lot harder to just dismiss. And here's how they're actually doing it. It kicks off with a public petition aimed right at the CEOs of the industry's biggest players, but it's kind of a two-pronged attack. By using all these real customer stories, they're trying to pressure the companies from the inside, while at the same time, pressuring the lawmakers who could regulate the industry from the outside. This whole campaign is really a huge test of consumer power against a very powerful, very entrenched industry. And it leaves all of us with a pretty big question to think about. In the world we live in today, what does it truly take for the voices of ordinary people to be heard and, ultimately, to force real, lasting change?